On June 19, 2025, the Indiana Fever traveled to Chase Center in San Francisco to face the Golden State Valkyries, the WNBA's 2025 expansion franchise playing their inaugural season. In front of a sold-out crowd, the Fever took control for much of the game, only to see their early advantage erode in the final quarter as the Valkyries surged to an 88-77 victory. The matchup, rich with momentum shifts, individual milestones, and strategic dramas, offered an illuminating look at each team's evolving identity this season. Welcome to Gintotski Sports, your spot for all things sports. From legendary moments and big-time plays to inspiring stories and deep dives, we bring you the content that keeps the game alive. If you love sports as much as we do, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. The game began with Golden State establishing an early 7-2 burst, only for Indiana to respond emphatically. Capitalizing on a 6-minute scoring drought that saw the Valkyries miss 13 consecutive shots, the Fever executed an electrifying 14-0 run. Aliyah Boston spearheaded the interior attack with 6 early points, while Natasha Howard's crisp mid-range efforts helped set a controlled pace. By the end of the quarter, Indiana held a commanding 21-12 lead, having imposed their tempo and effectively stifled Golden State's perimeter rhythm. Indiana maintained its aggressive posture in the second quarter. Star guard Caitlin Clark, initially struggling by missing her first 6 attempts, finally found a spark with a well-timed layup at 4:12. Although she finished a half 3 of 14 from the field and 0 of 7 from beyond, the 20-year-old's playmaking was not in short supply. She recorded 6 assists and 4 rebounds, orchestrating the Fever's offense with poise. Complementing her efforts, Kelsey Mitchell consistently found open looks along the perimeter, and Aliyah Boston capped the half with a buzzer-beating 3 that brought her total to 15 points and 7 rebounds at intermission. By halftime, the Fever's lead had stretched to 44-38. The third quarter witnessed a resurgence from the Valkyries as Golden State began to claw its way back into the contest. Tiffany Hayes and Chloe Bibby ignited their team's offense, while former teammate Kate Martin chipped in 5 crucial points in the final minute of the period. Indiana's Kelsey Mitchell responded with a steady 7-point output, and Aliyah Boston bolstered her resume by recording her 29th career double-double, moving her to second in the franchise record books. Despite the Valkyries narrowing the gap, Indiana maintained a slim lead of 59-55 as both teams entered the final period. The final quarter proved to be the turning point. Indiana was outscored 33-18, and the collapse was stark. The Fever shot just 5 of 17 compared to Golden State's 10 of 14 during that stretch. In a crucial span, Indiana committed 4 turnovers and allowed 11 points off those giveaways in the final 6 minutes, sealing their fate. With Aliyah Boston benched after picking up her 5th foul, Indiana's interior defense disintegrated, allowing the Valkyries to dictate play. Kayla Thornton hit 2 clutch 3-pointers in the closing 5 minutes, ultimately finishing with 16 points and 6 rebounds, while Veronica Burton knocked down a high-arc triple and a timely layup. Although Caitlin Clark managed a layup at 4:12 to briefly narrow the margin, the Valkyries continually answered, and the final whistle confirmed an 88-77 victory that showcased Golden State's late-game steely resolve. A closer look at Indiana's performance reveals multiple facets. Their strengths lie in a robust front-court presence. Aliyah Boston recorded 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks, as well as the versatile playmaking of Caitlin Clark, who, despite struggling from the field 3 of 14 overall and 0 of 7 from 3, contributed 11 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. These elements enabled the Fever to build leads on the road and implement an effective transition defense through the first 3 quarters. However, weaknesses emerged in their offensive predictability late in games. Reliance on a perimeter-based attack left them vulnerable, particularly on nights when key shooters like Clark cooled down. This predictability, combined with foul trouble that sidelined Boston, led to defensive stagnation in the paint. Opportunities for Indiana include diversifying their scoring options by incorporating more mid-range and drive-to-the-basket tactics and empowering secondary scorers such as Kelsey Mitchell and bench contributor Damaris Dantas. The looming threat is a recurring pattern of fourth-quarter collapses which, if unaddressed, could derail their postseason aspirations. In the post-game film sessions, head coach Christy Sides and her staff will focus on remedying the deficiencies that led to the collapse. A major emphasis will be on managing foul trouble and optimizing defensive rotations when pivotal players like Boston are forced to sit. Practices will target the development of alternative offensive sets that reduce dependence on Clark's perimeter creation, promoting increased off-ball movement for Mitchell and Howard, and empowering bench players like Damaris Dantas to provide sustained production. Additionally, mental reset strategies will be stressed, promoting on-court leadership from veterans such as Natasha Howard and Sydney Colson to steady the team during high-pressure phases. By breaking down the fourth-quarter breakdown, where 4 turnovers and 11 points off those giveaways proved costly, the Fever aimed to establish a more resilient and diverse late-game approach. For the Valkyries, their inaugural season has already begun to define a promising identity. Their strengths are anchored in team depth and resilience. Contributions from Kayla Thornton, 16 points, 6 rebounds, Tiffany Hayes, 14 points, 5 assists, and Kate Martin, 9 points, 5 rebounds, underscored a balanced and opportunistic roster. Their signature late-quarter execution transformed the game in their favor. Yet, the Valkyries also exhibited weaknesses, specifically slow starts marked by inconsistent early shooting. However, the opportunity lies in building on their home court advantage, having sold out every contest, and fine-tuning their defensive schemes to limit early deficits, especially against high-usage guards like Clark, who was held to 3 of 14 shooting thanks to strategic trap sets and off-ball denial. The primary threat for Golden State is an over-reliance on fourth-quarter surges. If this reactive heroics cannot be transformed into a consistent system, tougher playoff-caliber teams may expose those vulnerabilities. For the Valkyries, head coach Tanisha Wright will direct her team's focus on converting late-game momentum into an entrenched system of excellence. The coaching staff will institute drills designed to eliminate early scoring droughts and refine shot selection in the first half, thus smoothing out their initially inconsistent offensive rhythm. Emphasis will also be placed on further developing bench cohesion and effective communication during transitions, ensuring that their rising chemistry translates into sustained, predictable performance. Defensively, the staff will refine schemes to limit early deficits, particularly against formidable playmakers like Clark, by implementing strategic trap sets and off-ball denial tactics. The overarching objective is to transform reactive fourth-quarter heroics into a reliable, repeatable formula as the Valkyries continue to define themselves in their inaugural season. The June 19th contest between the Indiana Fever and the Golden State Valkyries was a tale of 2 halves. Indiana's early dominance ultimately undone by Golden State's explosive fourth-quarter execution, while the Fever demonstrated potent early-game momentum and effective transitions. Their collapse in the final minutes, underscored by defensive breakdowns and offensive predictability, raises significant concerns. In contrast, the Valkyries showcased resilience and strategic adaptability, sealing their victory with calibrated, high-pressure play. How each team addresses these challenges and builds on their successes will shape their playoff trajectories and define the next chapter of their 2025 season storylines. Thanks for watching Gintotski Sports. If that video hit home or gave you something to think about, drop a like and let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that bring the heart of sports to life. Until next time, stay inspired and keep chasing greatness.